Hey there, I'm Sandra Lett, and I just wanted to share a little bit about what inspired me to start this latest series of paintings about Kintsugi. And I'm sure that people have looked at the last 9 paintings I've done and thought, wonder what she's up to. It's very different from what I normally do. And that's just because I've been feeling a stirring within my soul over the last 6 months or so that I wanted to do something a little bit more inspirational that had a little bit more meaning and really a story more about me and where I've come from and what I've been through. And so I wanted to first read to you, a little bit about what Kintsugi is, okay? Kintsugi, the T is silent, it's Kintsugi, the Japanese tradition of mending broken pottery with gold, highlights imperfections rather than hiding them. Kintsugi, or joining with gold, is a 400-year tradition that shows that broken objects, when repaired, can be made even stronger, more resilient, and even beautiful. This philosophy can apply to more than just mending objects. It can apply to people as well. This is an allegory of the mending in us as humans, as well as pottery. The understanding is to heal and show that you are a better version of you with golden cracks. It also represents beauty in the incomplete and most simple way. This tradition, also referred to as Wabi-Sabi, translates to elegant beauty and simplicity over the passing of time. This being an acceptance of flaws and all, we can accept the uncertainty and imperfection in all of us and celebrate the new strengths we have gained, embracing a more positive attitude. Kansha is the act of expressing gratitude for the good and bad that we experience in life, the perfect and the imperfect. So in this manner, Kintsugi shows that imperfections can become beautiful and yet very useful, and so it relates in our lives. We can learn to live in the present, seeing positivity in every situation, which will allow us to live happier, more peaceful and meaningful lives. Quote, "He heals the brokenhearted and binds up their wounds." Psalm 147:3. So that's a little bit of the history of Kintsugi, which is a craft that's 400 years plus old. And all this kind of came to a head in the last month, I would say. Like I said, I'd felt a yearning for some time, maybe in the last 6 months or so, to do a little bit more with the art, the traditional acrylic art that I have done for years, and to paint more meaningful pieces that show a little bit more of my soul and what I want to express and what I want to help and embrace people to maybe feel when they look at my artwork that I've painted, or if they purchase it and it's in their home, something that it really makes them feel personally on a deeper level. And I got to be a part of the gathering of artisans this past month in the mountains of North Carolina, and I was a teacher teaching resin and alcohol inks. And the first thing that happened when I arrived at that conference getting ready to teach is I dropped my most beautiful bowl on the concrete, and it broke into pieces and shattered. I started off this trip as a teacher going in with this attitude of things just keep to seem falling apart around me. I lost my Facebook page for over a month, my whole profile. I couldn't access it. I was really upset with that. And when I was talking to different people at the conference, people were praying for me and just asking, maybe don't put your identity in social media and who the world thinks you are. And lo and behold, right beside my art table. At night we got to put out an art table with our products that we wanted to sell. And I had some shirts. I created shirts with the saying on them that you can find on my page. And right beside me at the table next to me was Alan Arnold, who is a life coach, inspirational, motivational speaker, and author. And I had read one of his books a few years ago, The Story of With. You notice the Kintsugi bottle there on the front? So right there. Okay, I read this a couple of years ago. This man who wrote the book was right next to my table at the conference. And he had a couple of other books that he was selling. He had a table full of books. And anyway, it made me recall as I talked to him that I had read this book several years ago when I was going through a really dark moment in my life. Not a moment, it was a long period of time. So I can honestly say, as far as my personal story goes, I've led a very broken and traumatic life at different periods of my life with different family issues, divorce, losing a second husband to cancer, personal issues with family and addiction, and just a lot of traumatic things in my life, childhood things, that kind of thing. So I've been searching for a long time, and so I had read this book a few years ago and kind of had forgotten about it because I have a terrible memory. And this man beside me, the author of this book, was there, and he spoke the last night of the conference as well. And also mentioned that night about Kintsugi, which reminded me of that whole process, and the process of imperfections and brokenness. And it doesn't matter if you're a Christian or not a Christian, everyone at some point in their lives goes through dark times, emotional roller coasters, a lot of sorrow, hurt, pain, just things that are very traumatic to ourselves individually. And I'm one of those people. And have been really, really searching and just working on myself, trying to improve the better version of Sandra. And this book talks about pursuing things that kind of really are out of our control. And it goes back to 4 principles of being expectant, awakened, who our identity is, and to work together. Number 4, together with God or with your higher power or whatever you believe in. And the whole weekend last month of that just really, really, it's like a light bulb went off in my head, and I just felt this extreme calling to paint this series of paintings. And I did this collection of 9 paintings to put into an art show locally in a city in Sanford, and that's coming up the first week of October. And so I wanted to create a series of paintings, which I have never done. In 25 years as an artist, I have painted thousands of things, jobs, clients' homes, YouTube videos, resin. I've done all these projects for years and years. I've never really done a series of paintings. And acrylic painting is my first love. And so I decided I was going to paint whatever I could express the best way this Kintsugi concept of brokenness to beauty and healing, this concept of ashes to beauty, of embracing imperfections and flaws and becoming stronger and more solid and firm in who you are and what your identity is. There are things that we might go through at any certain time of our life that we feel like we just cannot climb out of. We feel like we're in a deep, dark hole. And I've been there many times. But I want you to know that there is something better. And that is what I want to portray in this series of artwork. And so you may wonder, okay, so I started with a plate, and then I did a bowl and a vase, and on canvas, and they look kind of like broken pottery, and they've got these golden raised cracks that are actually gold leafed, that are going through the picture. And I wanted to represent the Kintsugi concept through those pieces. But then I wanted to take it a step further, and I wanted to paint women. And it doesn't even have to be women, but I really, really wanted to especially reach out to women, because me as a mother, a wife, a daughter, a sister, an aunt, a friend, a grandmother, there's so many people out there in this world that are hurting, that are lost, that are searching for the wrong things. And I wanted to speak to you specifically and let you know that that's not the end of your story. I'll be 59 in November, and I'm so grateful to have been through the low times, the bad times, the times that I didn't think I was going to make it, because I've come out so much more strong and so much more closer to God. And my faith is so much stronger. And I want to help and reach out to people and find a way to touch you in some way with my art. And so that's why I wanted to start out with the series of women that looked like pottery that is broken and repaired with gold. So if you're wondering, why did I choose painting the women with the white or the grayish blue skin and the designs on them, it's just a representation of the story of width. The story of you're a vessel. And even though you can be broken and very damaged in your mind, there's always healing on the other side. And the healing is made with gold, much more beautiful than anything you can imagine. And that is the repairing of those cracks in you. And it's making you more whole and more beautiful and more special. But you're already special. Broken and with flaws and everything, you're already very special. Don't ever forget that. Don't lose sight of that. I've done that many times through the years. I am the poster child for brokenness. I might not let on to it, but I am. And I just want you to know that there is hope. And if for any reason you need to reach out to me, please do. Email me at my website, sandralett.com. Send me a message on Facebook or on Instagram. Wherever you need to reach out to me, please do if you need to. I want to make a difference in people's lives because I have dealt with brokenness and the horrors of what it can do to you internally. Because when you're feeling broken, you want to isolate, you want to pull back, you want to not be around people, you want to stay to yourself, you feel like you're the only one, you might feel shame and guilt. Those are all things that are just pure lies. So that is the reason that I did this series. And I'm going to continue to move on. I'm still going to do the other mediums and the resin and the alcohol inks and all those things, wonderful, yummy things that I love to do. But I'm going to continue on with this theme of Kintsugi and brokenness to beauty and healing. And it's going to be in different forms. It may be, right now, it might be in women figures, and I might paint some men. I might make some abstracts with it. I'm not sure exactly where it's going to go, but I just know that it's going to shed light and hope, hopefully in someone's life. If I can touch one person's life, it's worth everything to me. I just want to show God's love through my face and through my hands as an artist to you, and let you know that there is hope and there is healing. And that is the whole story with this Kintsugi thing that I've started. I just hope that it just becomes more special, and that it sends a message and a glimpse of hope to someone out there. So thank you for listening to my story. I'm going to put the thing that I read about Kintsugi on the post as well, just so you can reread it and be reminded that there is always hope and healing in every circumstance. I love you all. Thank you for being so supportive. And I will continue to create what I feel is being inspired by my God through my hands. So thank you so much. Bye-bye.